Hi viewers, I'm Curtis Hanlon. Welcome back to Branching Out. Today we're just going to do a quick prune on this raspberry bush here. We got a whole row of them, and what we're going to do is cut out all the dead ones, and we're going to cut it back to help with the growing and the way it was growing easier, or make it grow easier. So what usually happens is these things keep going straight around and they'll loop back in and they'll tip layer, so they'll create more plants. And that's what I did. I actually created a whole bunch of plants here, but I didn't want them this far out, so we're going to push them back a bit. We're going to cut them straight so that they go straighter next year when they start to grow. And a lot of these will be the primal cane. So what you're looking for is the second year cane, which is called the floricane. And then what will happen is once the floricane comes in the second year, you'll get fruit on that. It will die and then produce more primal canes. So what we're going to do is, like I said, see this right here is creating, there's definitely probably a bush down in there. So we're just going to snip that, and now we have another bush. But we got all of this stuff right here, so we're just going to cut that back. And then, like I said, we're just going to come along here and cut it across, because some of this stuff is too long. So there's no problem with just getting rid of that. So we'll just kind of mulch that. I'll get the bushwhacker out here, mulch all of this stuff up here, and push it back in towards the tree, because the best kind of fertilizer you can get is the tree itself, or the bush itself, the leaves, the canes, and we'll just cut them into little pieces and put them on in there. It's the same thing I do when I'm trimming, or if I'm not taking cuttings and I'm just pruning a lot of my trees, is I just cut them up into small little pieces like wood chips, and I just keep tossing them towards the tree. So let's get started, and I'll show you what's going to happen and how this is going to look a little bit when I'm done. Okay, so just so you know, there's a bunch of little weeds in here. It's a good time to get in there if you can reach it. You should wear gloves, because you know, you're going to get prickled a lot. So like I said, this is a dead, let's get this dead out of here. We got this one here that's kind of messing us up, but you can see that they're brown. When they turn completely brown like that, this is a weed, like this right here, we want to cut that back. So we're going to keep cutting that back down to the ground there and get rid of it, so that it has room to grow new primal canes. So that's what we want, is first year canes to turn into second year canes that'll give us lots of fruit. So that's what we're going to keep going. Let's get this like this right here. Gotta watch myself, man. I've been prickled so many times. And you just clear that out right in there, right down at the base. And then if you want, again, if you're wearing gloves, it makes it a little easier, and you just cut it up to little pieces then. Chop it up, throw it right back in there. Now this is really poor ground, not necessarily poor soil, but poor ground. You can see this is all rocks and stuff that was placed in here for drainage, for when the roof lets go of the rain. And these bushes kind of probably self-pollinated themselves, or volunteered themselves to grow here. So yeah, so they just ended up here, and I just kept duplicating them year after year. So now we're starting to get nice fruit out of it. Alright, so I'll pan out in a minute, and you can see how thin it actually looks once there's no brown or any of the dead canes, right? So what I did is a lot of these other flexible canes that I took, I just put them right back into the ground. So, and there's like almost all the ones in the front are doing that, so I can get where I want them. So the idea is that when you tip layer them like that, they'll duplicate. So in the springtime, hopefully these will start to get a little bit of leaves on them, and then as they grow just a little bit, we can just snip them in half, and now we have two canes. So then that'll be a whole new raspberry plant. So I'm just going to pan out, and I'll show you the rest of it here. Alright, so it goes from one end to the other. I haven't quite made it to this side yet, because I had this this fold forage here sitting there, so it didn't really get a lot of raspberries in there. But a lot of these raspberries grew pretty long to the side and shot a lot of offshoots, and I was tempted to cut all the way back, but I won't do it all this year. But anyways, like I said, you just kept bending them over You might not be able to see that, Chubb. Anything you see that's kind of curled over like that is probably got a tip layer in there. So anything that was pretty flexible, I put in where I needed another plant. So I'll just back up here. And there you go. So from a giant 6-foot bush that was 3 feet wide to about 1.5 feet wide. Okay, you guys stay safe. Come back next week. It's the end of this video. Talk to you later.